You're listening to the StudioPTBO podcast, where we talk all things marketing to help you build and grow your business online. Welcome to the latest episode. And welcome to the StudioPTBO podcast. We are back, and we're back at it again with another guest. And it's Tuesday after a long weekend for us. You know, we're getting back into the groove of things and just trying to find our rhythm on this Tuesday morning. Lots of coffee. Shout out to Coffee with Cody, I guess. And Neil Morden, how you doing? You got a bunch of photos behind you. You're rocking out this morning with Foo Fighters. With who else you got behind you?
Sheepdog. Yeah. This is Nora's wall of her favorite musicians. So it's her own little rock and roll museum. But today we got a really special guest all the way from Dallas, Texas. Sarah, welcome to the show. It's Sarah St. John. And we're super stoked to have you on today to talk about all things entrepreneurship and innovation and creative ingenuity. Sarah, do you want to give us a little bit about your backstory as an entrepreneur, growing up in Dallas? And I read up on you a bit, and it looks like you were from a really young age wanting to flip things.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's when I was a little kid, I would take like candy, pencils, anything that I got for free, and then try to sell them to my friends, basically flip them, I guess. So I've been kind of entrepreneurial from the get-go, but as far as actually having businesses, that's been, I'd say 12 years now that I've had businesses. I've had a few different ones. Like I had a photography business for weddings and portraits. But now all my businesses are pretty much online because I wanted to do things within a budget. Because with photography, there's always upgrades, maintenance, on camera equipment, lighting, and whatnot.
Preach. You're preaching to the choir. You're talking to the video crew. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, it can get expensive to maintain. So I decided that I wanted to be able to run a business for under $100 a month. And so I switched to online. I've tried a few different things like drop shipping, affiliate marketing, and things like that. And right now I have a web design company, a podcast production company. Those two I just launched. And then I still do some drop shipping and affiliate marketing. So just kind of all over the place.
So tell me about the podcast. Tell me about your journey into podcasting and building this podcast company. Like, you're doing a lot of different things. It seems like you're a lot like Neil and I, where it's like we're kind of squirrely. We're always like trying to figure out what to do. So maybe like take us deep into for a few minutes into kind of how all of those businesses got started. Like, what was it like? Where did it all start? Like, why did you decide to do the podcast company? Why did you decide to do the web? Why did you decide to do the drop shipping? Like, what is it about all these different ventures that really, I guess, really bring you joy? But like, it's like, why did you decide to do it?
So with podcasting, I had been familiar with that term for a while, but never thought it'd be something I'd be interested in. But then I started hearing about different podcasts like Entrepreneur on Fire, Smart Passive Income, all those big ones. And I was like, well, those sound interesting. I guess I'll try listening to them. And I fell in love with podcasts immediately and was like subscribing to all kinds. And then I was like, well, after I'd gotten the idea for the book, Frugalpreneur, I was like, I should launch a podcast with the book. Let me try podcasting on my own. And I enjoyed it and it went well. I think it's kind of interesting to launch a podcast and a book at the same time. Like they kind of feed off of each other. And so I got into podcasting while still listening to podcasts. And then I was like, I like producing and editing the podcast and the different, like creating audiograms and just all the different things you can do. So then I decided, well, I guess I'll try creating a production company because I'm already doing it for mine. So, so basically, and then with the web design, I liked creating websites, and it's kind of like, if it's something that I enjoy doing for myself, I figure why not try to get paid for it too for other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, kudos to you. And tell us about like this notion of side hustles. Like, I think back in the day, you talked about how you had 6 jobs on the go at once, and you weren't an entrepreneur at that point, but you're starting to side hustle. And what would you say to anyone who's thinking of going into business for their own, or in your case, 20 businesses or something like that? But yeah, what would you say to them in terms of side hustles, and when to know when to actually take the leap to go into something full time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I didn't have 6 jobs at one time. That would be a lot to manage. It was 6 within the course of a year. So like I'd had a job like for 2 or 3 weeks, and then one for 3 months. I don't know. That year just was not a good year. That was 2008, I think. Which I guess is when the recession hit, so that maybe was part of the problem. But so I started thinking maybe working for other people is not really what I want to do, because I like to be in control of the situation, know what to expect. And so I started doing that's actually when I started the photography business. And I had done that for like 7 years, but it was just getting too expensive. So that's when I started doing like drop shipping, affiliate marketing, then writing the books, and just different things like that.
So tell us a little bit about Frugalpreneur, and tell us, maybe you can kind of relate that back to our audience. And, because I think a lot of times we as advertisers, we want to spend money in order to make money. And you've chatted about this a little bit over Frugalpreneur. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a background on like the book and essentially the concept behind everything you're doing with the podcast. Like what is it? How did it get inspired? Like how did that all come to be?
So I was in Financial Peace, which is a Dave Ramsey class, and it's about like paying off debt and things like that. And he was going over the ways to save money to help pay off debt. And I was like, all that's great, but I was wondering, well, what about making more money? And then of course using that money to either save or pay off debt or whatever. And then I was just sitting there in the class, and I was like, Frugalpreneur, like that word came to me. I was like, I should write a book about it. And then after the book came the idea for the podcast. Well, while I was writing the book, the idea, so that I was able to launch them at the same time. But the idea is, well, first of all, to have a side hustle or side income in addition to maybe your full-time job, because you never know what could happen with your full-time job. Like right now, people are getting laid off and stuff. And so to have that extra source of income, and then if you lose your job, maybe being able to make the side hustle your main hustle.
Yeah.
And then, so just creating extra income, an extra way to have financial security, but being able to do it on a budget. Because there's a bunch of ways you can make money online without investing a whole lot of money up front. And so basically I have several businesses, but I operate all of them for under $100 a month. And so that's kind of the concept, is like the different tools and resources and whatnot that I use to be able to stay under $100 a month. Because a lot of the stuff I use is free or like really cheap. So yeah, that's basically just helping people. Uh-huh.
What are some of these softwares or some of these things that you're using in order to ensure that you're staying on $100 a month? I think that this whole entire concept really plays into a lot of people that are starting side hustles. Because I remember when I first started my first side hustle with Create Purpose, and we chatted about this a little while ago, I was spending a lot of money on content creation. I think I was paying like a video crew like $400 or $500 a month in order to shoot content for me. And then I had softwares, and then I had a website. So maybe give us a little bit of background, like on somebody that wants to potentially go into entrepreneurship, but they have all these they're being bombarded with softwares, and they're being bombarded with different types of systems that cost money. What are the softwares that are free that you're using that's working? Maybe you can take us through that a little bit.
So yeah, I don't hire anybody for anything. I do everything myself, which that obviously saves money. So if you have more time than money, I recommend that, but obviously not everyone can do that. As far as the tools that I use, so for websites, I mean, you can get a free website from WordPress if you don't do like get a fancy theme or anything. So that's basically free. I mean, you'd have to get a domain. But you can get a domain for $1 at oneand1.com, which is the number one. So that's like $1. And then, if you wanted to create a logo or any kind of graphics, you could do that for free in Canva or pay someone $5 in Fiverr. Let's see. Oh, for my mailing list, I use MailerLite, which for the first 1,000 subscribers, I believe, is free.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so at a certain point, you do have to start paying for that, but it's only like 10 or $15 a month after that, up to, maybe 5,000 people. Let's see. And then for social media scheduling and management, I use Crowdfire, and that's like $10 a month. So I just batch everything in that for like the next month or more. And then like for the podcasting, well, for the hosting of it, I use Spreaker, which is $7 a month. And then to create audiograms and things like that, I use Repurpose, which is $12 a month. Let's see what else.
What's an audio?
You weren't kidding. This is like,
yeah.
You really are doing it for under $100 a month.
Yeah.
And that's the way to get a business off the ground. A lot of people think it's really expensive. It doesn't have to be, though. And by the time you do have to maybe spend a little bit more, right, Sarah, with some of these services, you sort of scale to the point where you can afford that more, so that you really do have the ROI. But I love how you've actually researched this and done your due diligence and taken advantage of, I don't know, sometimes trial offers, but it's these other businesses, right, Cody, that are just trying to get you on board as a whatever early adopter, and then they will grow with you as well. So it all makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's really cool to see, like, the, especially like for the person that's doing a side hustle on the side that, wants to kind of maximize the profits. And I think that, we're living now through an era where there are a lot more people looking for side hustles, looking for extra revenue, extra income. Take us through like drop shipping / affiliate marketing. So you're doing that right now. Maybe you can talk to our audience a little bit about what that is and what it does. I understand it, but I'm not sure if everyone in our audience would understand what drop shipping is and what affiliate marketing is. And I think those are two key things that entrepreneurs can, or people that want to be an entrepreneur can use almost as like stepping stones in order to make a little bit of additional income or side hustle money.
And did you ask what an audiogram was?
Yeah, I asked what I asked what an audiogram was, and then if you could explain to our audience what affiliate marketing is and what was the second one? Affiliate marketing,
drop shipping.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the audiogram is when you have audio that basically turns into video, in that it has that little wavy.
Okay, we do those.
Yeah.
Now I get them. Now I get what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. Cool. And then, so drop shipping, I have one drop shipping business currently. And the way that works is you don't have to keep an inventory. So obviously that saves a lot of money. So basically a lot of it is done with products from China. So the cost of the item is so low, and then you can sell it on your website for, like, for example, mine is a baby clothing company. So some of the items are $1, $2, $3, but I could sell them on my website for $10, $15, $20. So the profit margin is quite high. And I don't have to keep an inventory. So basically the way it works is someone goes on the website and they buy something. So then I then turn around basically. So then that money comes to me, but then I have to turn around and then place that order with the supplier. And there are suppliers in like the US and the UK, but they're more expensive. So like the profit margin wouldn't be as high.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with China, especially right now, is that the amount of time it takes for the person to get their products is so long. Like people are used to, 2 days because of Amazon. But it can take 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, when it's coming from China. So that's the downside. And so to create a drop shipping business, there's a couple of ways. You could create a Shopify store and then integrate a plugin called Oberlo, Oberlo. And basically, that's just a bunch of like not drop shippers, but what's the word I'm looking for? Well, a bunch of companies, that do this. And then you can pick your products, put them in your store. But with Shopify, it's like $29 a month. So that's what I used to do. And then when I switched over to WordPress, there's a plugin that's only like a one-time fee of $69, I believe. And it's called Ali Dropship. And that uses AliExpress, which is a big supplier.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And the nice thing about that plugin is that they only have products on there that are high quality, rated well, and all of that. So you don't have to really wonder about the product. So that's what I use right now. So that's a one-time fee of $69 versus $29 a month if you did Shopify. But either way,
Pretty cheap,
yeah. So
like that, and that's like it's so cool to see that, like the different ways that you can kind of make money on the side, and with side hustles. And I think that, Neil, like we've seen really cool businesses kind of come out of, and we've chatted with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners over the last little while. Really cool businesses come out of just this strange time, and I guess the pandemic. So it's really interesting to I have business owners talk to us all the time. It's like, how do I save money? Starting this way, try to make a little bit of money so that I can reinvest it back into the business. So it's really cool to hear these different ways as far as drop shipping. And really the last question, and kind of what how I want to wrap up, is like, maybe you can just explain to our audience what affiliate marketing is, or what that looks like, and essentially the advantages of affiliate marketing. We're just kind of starting to get in affiliate marketing, in the sense that we have a CRM system that does it, called High Level. So it's essentially it's a CRM system that we use for ourselves and for our clients. So I'm really curious to know, maybe you can explain to us how affiliate marketing works. And because it's a really cool concept, specifically for an entrepreneur, if they're looking, or just even somebody in a full-time job that wants to make a little bit of extra money. Maybe you can explain to that, and kind of what you're doing with affiliate marketing, and kind of the advantages for side hustlepreneur, or just even a frugalpreneur, like you said.
Yeah, so I think the main way people use it is when they're doing like content creation, so like blogging or podcasting. So like, for example, on a blog, they might have a sidebar, and this is currently how I do it on my website, is they'll have different affiliate offers on the sidebar, or maybe they'll do a post about a particular item or product. And so the way it works is basically you are referring a product, service, or tool, or what have you, to your listeners, your readers, whoever it might be. And if that person, like if someone were to click on that link, and they purchase, and usually there's a cookie window of like 30 to 60 to 90 plus days. So they don't have to purchase right then and there. But if they purchase within that cookie window, then you would make a commission. So basically it helps both sides, because you're getting to promote and refer items and services that you really enjoy and use yourself, and you feel like other people could, benefit from them. And basically you're getting paid, well, only if it converts, but you're getting paid to promote those products and services. But on the other end, the company who you're the affiliate for, the advantage for them is that they don't have to pay you anything up front, like with ads and stuff that would cost them money up front.
Yeah.
They only have to pay you if you make them money. So it's like it's like they have a bunch of little salespeople out there promoting your stuff, and you don't have to worry about paying them until they make a sale, basically.
Super powerful tool. And it's something that, like, I think a lot of businesses can even, like, if you start to look at it, even like as a referral type of like referral strategy or a partnership strategy that essentially allows the business owner entrepreneur to like create like mini, like brand ambassadors, like that. Essentially you pay them a back-end commission for every sale that you close. So it's really cool. And we're seeing a lot of, entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners implement this strategy. Sarah, I thank you so much for joining us today on the StudioPTBO podcast. And Neil and I are both super grateful. And so if somebody were to be looking for more information on how to be a frugalpreneur, how to save money while starting a business, where can they contact you? Where can they reach you?
Got to get her book, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Well, and actually I have a free download of both of my current books if you go to thesarahstjohn.com/free, you can get a free copy of Frugalpreneur and Authorpreneur PDF versions. And then there's some other videos and things like that. And that's Sarah with an H, and then the last name is StJohn.
Very cool. And you have a podcastpreneur in the works as well, right? Another?
Yeah, my third book is going to be Podcastpreneur. That'll come out later this year.
Very cool series. Yeah. Congrats.
Awesome. Congrats. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And thank you so much for tuning into the StudioPTBO podcast. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur that is looking to grow and build your business in the online space, we have a StudioPTBO Marketing Hacks group, and we go live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is literally happening in the next 15 minutes. So click the link below. Join the StudioPTBO Marketing Hacks group if you're a business owner, entrepreneur that is looking to grow and scale in the online space. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Neil, you're wearing plaid today, so you must be in a good mood. So that's always good. And thank you for tuning into the StudioPTBO podcast. We will see you soon.